Hello and welcome, I'm Jessica Shales, recording for Fluid Webworks, and today I'd like to demystify the different social media, explain exactly how they're different from each other and how to tell which one would be ideal for your business. The reason that it's worth knowing this is because although social media is supposed to be free, it takes time and effort, and that does equal money. So my suggested strategy is to pick a social media or one or two that are ideal for your business, get really good at them, really understand how they relate, and if you want to build in other ones, then do it. There are lots of features and benefits to all of them, and I could list all of those, but you probably already know them, and that doesn't actually help you to identify in real terms which one would be ideal for you and your business. So I'm going to explain with a PowerPoint presentation how the different social media relate to real life situations. It makes it really easy to understand as an analogy, and I hope that it makes it easier for you. Let me know what you think and whether you change the analogies a bit, because I think this is a great way to actually communicate the different social media. So let's get started. So I won't go over all the social media in depth. I'm going to concentrate on Facebook and Twitter because they're the main ones that people struggle to really identify with and understand how to use. But I will briefly also cover Pinterest, YouTube and Google+, just with some quick tips. So Facebook, let's start off. I would compare that to a family barbecue or a house party, because if you want to attend one of those events, you have to be invited. But the great thing is that if you attend a house party or a barbecue, family barbecue, then you know who's there, or they have been invited by somebody who you trust. The only other way that you can get along to one of these events is if you're invited by somebody there. The benefit of this is that for everybody who's there, it's a place of comfort and safety where they may dress in a more relaxed way, they may talk about things and share their views more openly because they feel that they're safe, but also they're more likely to be receptive of anyone who is brought along or any subject that's mentioned because they're around people that they trust in an environment that they're familiar with and comfortable with. Likewise with Facebook, you will only show up on somebody's newsfeed if they have agreed to be your friend, or if you're a business and have a page that they've agreed to like. So if they're on Facebook, they've agreed to go there and see the information that's in front of them. This means that they're more receptive. But the challenge is that it can be hard to get in front of people as a business. The only way to do it, as with a house party, is if you are talked about by somebody there, or if you're brought along. The real life example of this is if I have a friend who has liked a comment or a status message or a picture on a business page, then that will show up to me. And I may trust that friend enough to think, well, I trust your recommendation and your liking of this page, so I'm going to like it too, or, you know, that's interesting, I'm going to go and find out more about that. So that's your only real way, apart from advertising, to actually get in front of the prospects that you might want to. However, if you do get in front of them, then it's much more powerful. Like I said, it's an environment where people feel trusting and safe, much more so than some of the others. So, moving on from that, Twitter. Twitter in comparison is like a nightclub or a bar, because there are a lot of people there and they're making a lot of noise, and they're not necessarily always making very much sense either. It can be difficult to be heard because you can post a message, only 140 characters, and then that will just disappear in the feed, because if someone's following, say, 1,000 people, that will quickly disappear in amongst all the rest of the noise. So you have to speak loudly, and you have to often say things more than once so that you will actually reach all of your prospects. You can't just say things once on there, which can be quite frustrating. However, unlike Facebook, you can eavesdrop, hear what people are talking about, and decide what conversations you get involved. So you can more proactively chase people who might be interested in what you have to offer. You can do this by just searching for keywords that are relevant to your service. Like for me, another business that I have is everything for redheads. I just have to search for the term red hair, redheads, ginger hair, something like that, and then I can find what people are talking about, or if it's in their description, follow them, just get involved with the conversation and go from there. However, the quality of these new prospects is not brilliant. So my own strategy is, you can find this as a great way to get to people and build a following, but then if possible try to move them over to a platform where you get a higher quality communication, whether that is Facebook or whether it's your own website, which would be ideal, because then you really do have control over the type of interactions, and that's where you're more likely to influence your business goals. So I would use it like a recruitment tool. At the end of the day, if you met somebody really interesting and nice in a bar or a nightclub, you wouldn't continue the whole of your ongoing relationship or friendship with them there. You'd move them into a better environment where you can have a better quality interaction, and the same applies to Twitter. You also have the limited options with interactions. Like I said, you've only got 140 characters, whereas with Facebook you can have surveys and you can have notes, and you've sort of got images and you can post videos and things like that. With Twitter, it just backs up what I'm saying about the quality of the interaction is really limited. Okay, so Pinterest, which is a relatively new social media, it is the fastest growing social media I think I've read recently, but it's in a bit of a difficult situation from a business point of view, because it has a limited target market and business results have kind of varied. So we'll go into that briefly now, and I'll probably make another whole post on this demonstrating my findings, but it's kind of like a scrapbook club. If you don't know what a scrapbook is, it's when you get a book with empty pages, and you might want to take clippings out of magazines of things that you really like the look of, or things you'd like to have, or represent goals of yours, and then you glue them into the pages. And maybe one of your pages might represent a particular goal, like my dream house, or it might be a fitness goal, so have pictures of either men or women, depending on your sex, that look really good, and that's sort of your dream body, or even it could be your dream partner, or anything that is particularly important to you. And this is essentially an online version of this. So if somebody finds something online that they really like the look of, they can then pin it to a board. For example, if I see a really nice pair of Gucci shoes that I would love to have, I can pin that picture of those shoes onto my board, dream wardrobe, and then other people can see that, and they can then repin or like or comment or do whatever they want. So it's social in that way. These sort of pictures are often aspirational pictures and goals, so the boards that are on there are very specific to an individual person. They get to choose what kind of boards there are. But on business terms, it means that it's a great source of market research. If you're a designer, if you're a business of any sort, you can go and have a look at what people would love to have, what they're interested in, and what boards they're making. If you can find one of your ideal customers on there, and you get an insight into what they're emotionally wanting, whether they can have it or not, they're telling you exactly what they're interested in getting. So it can be a great source of market research. It is, however, mostly women, because I think the whole idea of doing a scrapbook is quite female as well, and it is by nature very visual. So if your business is not involved with either of those things, if you're not targeting women and you don't have a business that has a very visual representation, then you probably struggle to do very well on Pinterest. Although there's usually a way to find a way to actually make it work. The other problem with it is that it's aspirational but not necessarily very realistic. For example, I might see a pair of Gucci shoes that I love and pin them to a board, but the likelihood of me actually going out and buying them is pretty slim. Even if I did, I think, have the cash, I don't think I'd go and spend money on, this is just me personally, I wouldn't go and spend it on Gucci shoes. I'd just go and do something else with it that I would find to be of higher value. So unfortunately, it might tell you what people are going to want, what people want, it doesn't necessarily tell you what they're going to do, and that can be a problem. Also, you don't need to necessarily use it as a source of getting people through. It could be a way to support your other marketing material, because there are some great pictures there. You can then download them and maybe share them on Facebook or on your own website, so you get to see what people are interested in, and then that can support your other communications with them, either on your website or on other social media. So you don't have to use Pinterest in the same way that you would use the other social media. It can be a supportive tool. The thing that I've personally found about Pinterest is, although we've had a good uptake and people have been really interested, and it is, I think, our fourth highest referral source for everything for redheads, the actual conversion rate is 0. Whereas with Facebook, we actually have people are 3 times more likely to complete a purchase if they're coming through from Facebook than if they're coming through Google, because Facebook seems to provide very highly qualified leads. Conversely, Pinterest, the leads from Pinterest are really poor. So like I said, can be aspirational, can be a great support to your other communications, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to help you on a business level. But that's what I found. Google Plus, very quickly, Google Plus is sort of like a house party that seems like a really good idea, but it just seems to be on the wrong weekend, and no one's really willing to cancel their existing plans to get involved. So it's got all the right things in place, but unfortunately it's just a very disappointing turnout. However, Google aren't going to be too disappointed because they own YouTube, and that's supposed to be moving between the second and third most used search engine now after Google itself. So they're fine, and they're trying to move YouTube to be have more social elements, so you can comment and like and send messages and communicate with people, and they're increasing the uses of having a channel and using a channel, so there are much more social elements to it. If compared to a real life situation, it is sort of like watching a person with attention deficit disorder channel hopping, and I'm not making light of that condition. I know it's a serious condition, but people do not spend long actually watching a video. You have to hook people very, very quickly, prove that you're going to give them value, and then they may stick around. But it's not a surprise because there are so many things on a page on YouTube suggesting that they might like this other video and this other channel and this other thing. So although that's good for retention, it keeps people on YouTube and it keeps them moving through more and more videos. It means that the amount of time they might spend on watching one single video with all those distractions going on is pretty slim. But you can get a good interaction going. It can be a good source of traffic because you could do a post on your blog and then you could do a video on it, and your video could be more likely to actually show up in search engine results just because of the way that it seems to be shown, but also because some people do go directly to YouTube, particularly if it's a how-to subject, and just search how to, and then they could find you. And then you need to remember to tell them to go through to your website, or either in the video or in the description, or both, and then they can come through and be a fan of your website. YouTube, well, what I particularly like YouTube for is that it's the only media that I found to be in support of your other communications. And what I mean by that is that although it takes longer to maybe produce the videos and it might be more involved, once you have a video you can actually then post that to many different other social media, and you can embed it within your website. So I could do a demonstration, then take that code from YouTube, and not only would it be on YouTube, on my channel anyway, it would also then maybe be within my website, which then that singular post could be sent out as a newsletter. The video can also be posted on Pinterest, because Pinterest allows for postings of videos and pictures, and posted within Facebook as well. So it's sort of, I think that actually makes the production of the video a bit more worthwhile, because it's not just going to be on that singular media, so it can be really, really supportive of your other communications. So what have you found? Which out of these social media works best for you? Do you agree with these analogies? Would you add anything to them? Would you change something? Please let me know, comment below. If you think that anyone else would actually value this, you know, if they're actually struggling to understand the differences between the different social media, then I think putting it in these terms and these real life analogies really helps. So remember to share with them if you can think of anyone who it would be supportive of. If you do want to see more videos like this, more tutorials, and you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. But in addition, we have further downloads, hints, tips and resources on fluidwebworks.co.uk, so come over and join us over there, and I hope to see you soon.